like that
Right.
people in our family can't understand or can't explain what we do. That's a problem. That's not a badge of honor, in fact, right? Like that's
Yeah.
messed up.
Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hasseman, and joining me today is a repeat rock star. Super excited to have him back. He is a business scaling expert. He's an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker. He's the CEO and co-founder of Radical Company, Jason Friedman. Thank you so much for joining me again.
Hey, Kirby, thanks for having me back. I'm excited to be here with you, man.
Absolutely. So one thing I know is that since the last time we talked, you've been through a lot. So why don't you talk a little bit about sort of your journey here, and then kind of to lead you into it, how did letting go help you heal stage 4 cancer?
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate the opportunity to share. In November of 2023, I was hit with a diagnosis of stage 4 gastroesophageal cancer. So they one day just kind of couldn't swallow and went into the emergency room, fade out, fade in. 4 days later, I got a diagnosis. And, of course, it's a scary thing. Anybody that has a cancer story in their ecosystem, and sadly, too many of us have, you go to like these crazy thoughts of like, how do I make sure my kids are okay? And, it's over. You just,
Yeah.
I immediately thought it's over. And after just a little bit of time and some mindset work, one of the doctors said to me, he's like, look, you got 5% of the people survive this. So just have a cigarette, have a drink, just live your life. And I was like, what a jerk, like that's not really like what you want to hear. And then I had a different thought. I thought, well, I've been in the top 1% in everything I've ever done in my life. Those are my people. I'm going to be good. And just like anchored to that belief. And as an entrepreneur, this as an entrepreneur, like our beliefs drive everything,
Yeah.
And so just like finding stories to support the healing journey and finding things to anchor to really changed my life. And then finding, just as an entrepreneur, we build teams. We know how to build teams. We know how to set unreasonable goals. We know how to make things happen. And so like, I just like, dude, like I leaned into all of my entrepreneurial journey and everything I knew as an entrepreneur. Like I don't take, no for an answer. I don't do things on my own. I build a team. And I did that. I built a team of experts on Eastern Med, Western Med, anything in between. I looked into spirituality. I looked into herbs. I looked into nutrition. I looked into vacation and stress relief and meditation and you name it. If you could do it, I did it. And there was one person in particular that said to me, she was a psychologist that had like a bunch of cancer experience. And so she worked with people in that milieu. Her husband had stage 4 cancer. She helped him survive and thrive, his brother and a variety of other people. And she said to me, she asked me this question. She's like, and we were on Zoom and she's like, how stressed are you? I was like, I'm not stressed. Like I sold my business for a lot of money. Like I got kids that are great. My life was phenomenal outside of this. And she's like, okay, let me see your calendar. And I was like, what? She's like, let me see your calendar. So we're on Zoom. I share my screen and she sees my calendar and there's like all the boxes of all the meetings that I've been having and like all the color codes and all the things. And she's like, Jason, that's what stress looks like. She's like, you've got too much on your plate. And as an entrepreneur, like we don't necessarily always read that as stress. We sometimes read that as like excitement and adrenaline,
Opportunity,
and dopamine and opportunity and
yeah,
all those things, right? And busyness and like we're in it, we're doing it, we're making things happen, and it's like it's too much, and my body like started to say no more. And it was a real wake up call. And so I started looking at like, how do I stop operating from force, like where I packed things in and I set unreasonable goals related to an unreasonable timeline. Setting an unreasonable goal wasn't the issue. It was forcing it into a compact timeline that added the stress component to it.
Yeah.
And so what I had to learn, and what I'm learning still, playing, I'm experimenting, right, is like, how can you still have big goals? How can you still collapse time and make things happen fast, but not have the pressure of the committed timeline and date to it? And so like that's been like my letting go journey, like letting go of the connection to the calendar as much with the big goals that I set. And it's been a really interesting journey. Like, so the way I'm talking about it is like force, like where it's like you're cramming it into that little time frame, versus flow, where you're communicating your vision, you're sharing it far and wide, you're enrolling people in a vision and setting this still unreasonable vision, but you're not locking it to a timeline. You're just allowing it to happen organically. And it's not happening slower, has been my experience. It's actually happening faster, because the energy that you bring to it is different. First of all, the magnetism of the messaging has shifted, because you're sharing more from the heart than from I don't even know what the right word is, like from like an itinerary, if you will.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's a different energy, and it works differently. And it's just been just kind of a fun journey to explore that now. And with this new business, it's all that. It's like all that. We're not locking, like we have big goals. We want to change the world in our own way and help as many people as we can. And literally the genesis of what I'm doing now is because of the healers that helped me, like whether they were therapists or artists or coaches or speakers or whatever they were, like so many people, but they're underserved. Like they were hidden and they don't know how to do their marketing, and they can't, you can't find them. Like it was like I had to like lift up rocks and like look under rocks to find like these amazing humans that changed my life. And so now it's like I want to help exclusively these kind of soul aligned entrepreneurs, healers, speakers, you name it, that really are people who help people. And so our mission now is to help them and shine their light as bright as we possibly can, so that people who need the help can get the help without struggling.
Wow, man, that's a heck of a journey, and a
Yeah.
lot to unpack there. One thing that pops into my head is like the idea of you utilizing those entrepreneurial skills that you've been honing this whole time to help you through that is really interesting. So, real quick, let's talk about growth. I mean, obviously you've been working with companies for a long time, and now working in this new sector. So, what's something that entrepreneurs get wrong?
They think that they should start growing their business before they grow them. Like in order to really grow a business, you need to grow you first. Like your identity needs to shift into a different place. The way that you show up needs to shift. The way you make decisions really needs to shift. And so one of the things that I help these earlier stage entrepreneurs do, we call it the penthouse paradigm. That's like, I want you to go to this place where you're at that next level. Assume that that's the penthouse of the building and you're in the basement. I want you to go up there. I want you to paint a picture of what it looks like, be in that space, understand it, embody it, and think about like, how do I make decisions there? What is my life like? What is my life like? What is my day like? And now I want you to come back down to the basement where you are to today, and I want you to use that thinking, that positioning, that perspective, that point of view, that decision making energy that you have and experience that you just like teleported into, and start making decisions from that place today, because we're always kind of behind until we bring ourselves to that place. And so every jump that I've had in my business, it was a jump in me first. Like I was always stuck until I grew me first.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, I think that is incredible advice. And I think it's become, I think it's one of the things we miss, right? As entrepreneurs, is we're trying to hit that thing. I think it's one of the reasons where people get to where they want to go. And then they're like, well, is that it?
Is
It's
that
like,
all?
yeah,
Yes.
that's right. And so I think that's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And I think maybe you touched on this earlier, maybe, but I've heard you talk about collapsing the swirl for maximum impact. Can you discuss what that means?
Yeah, totally. You know, so my current clients, right, in the radical company are generally speaking very creative people. And so like, that doesn't mean that they're an artist specifically. Some of them are literally artists. Some of them are writers. Some of them are marketers. Like they identify as creative in some way.
Yep.
And as a
Yep.
creative entrepreneur, um, you end up a lot of times in the swirl because you have all these ideas, you have all these inputs, you have all these things you want to do. And the swirl is the enemy of clarity. It's the opposite of clarity. And clarity equals energy. Clarity equals momentum. Clarity allows you to move towards something. The swirl, it's like almost like if you're into like whitewater rafting, you have like those like kind of like swirling waters that you get stuck in, the strainers and what have you, as you're going down the thing. You get stuck in that. Like you can't escape that spot unless someone like yanks you out of it. And so we get stuck in the swirl as creative entrepreneurs all the time. And like it's a dangerous place. It's a beautiful thing when you get to explore the creativity and add the color and do all the things, but then action has to result from that, right? Or we
Yeah.
don't grow. We don't get to that place. We don't help the people we want to help. We don't share our gifts with the world. And so it's like we have to find the way to bridge the gap from getting out of the swirl and getting into that kind of clarity zone. And so that's one of the things that I really work hard with people to do. Like, I don't want you to dim your light and lose your creativity, but I want you to find a way to focus all of that. And so one of the ways we do that is through what we call the prism process. And so if you imagine a prism, right, you shine a bright light into it, all the colors of the spectrum come out. And so in a lot of situations, like we try and tell people, like, pick one thing, just pick a lane, pick one
Yeah.
lane to do it, and then do that. And with creative entrepreneurs, they can't do it. They can't
Yeah.
do it. They fight it, they resist it, and the magic of what they do is in all the colors. And so we do the reverse prism. We have them bring all their colors in, and we shine a bright focus light on the other side. We help them package it in a way that makes sense of the swirl. So we take the swirl, all the elements, and we actually focus it into something that allows it to make sense to first them, and then they can communicate it. And now their customers understand it. It's like if you went to a mechanic, like they have all their tools in the toolbox. And when a creative entrepreneur hears you say, pick a lane, it's like, I can't fix a car with just a screwdriver, dude. Like I can't do
Yeah.
it. I need my whole
Yeah.
toolbox. And so we help them package that so that it makes sense.
Yeah, I've often, and I think Jason, you and I are similar. Is I find myself in meetings, and I'm an action oriented person, but I'm also creative, and so I
Yep.
find myself being the translator
Yes.
between a group
Yes.
of people. What they mean is they just want you to set a headline. What they mean, like, and it
Man.
sounds like that's sort of what you're doing. You're like, okay, we're going to take all this and we're going to translate into something that the marketplace can
Totally.
understand.
Totally, but it's so empowering. Like clarity equals energy. Like when you get that understanding of how to explain what you like. How many people, like, you ask an entrepreneur, can your mother or can your spouse or can anybody explain what you do? No, nobody understands what I do. Like they almost, entrepreneurs wear it as a badge of
Yeah,
honor, like that
right.
people in our family can't understand or can't explain what we do. That's a problem. That's not a badge of honor, in fact, right? Like that's
Yeah.
messed up, right? And
Yeah.
so like what if they could? What if everybody that you met was so understanding and they understood what you do and how you help people, and they could help you help other people get connected and share the message and all that. And so it's like, as marketers, it's like it's frustrating for us that they can't do that, but they have to embody it and understand their message too. And they, in that swirl, they end up creating more swirl out there. So customers are pushed away by it and they're stuck and they're paralyzed. And so when we can create that clarity for them, it's so empowering. All the creativity then gets aligned and they get more done. Like focusing them is not limiting them. It's
Right. Oh
creating
yeah.
more opportunity for momentum.
Well, this has been great, Jason. One final question for you. I'm going to throw out one of those terms we hear as marketers all the time, which is ROAS, a return on ad spend. And I get it. That's important. But can you talk about why experience is the ultimate growth multiplier?
Yeah, thanks for that question. That's an amazing question. So, return on advertising spend is what I would say most online entrepreneurs live by. You spend your life giving all your money to Mark Zuckerberg and the other advertising places out there, and you're so obsessing over what this return on your advertising spend is. And so like, I believe that that's a mistake. Not that you shouldn't care about what that return is, but there's a more important return. And we call that the new ROAS, which is the return on audience success. And so like what we want people to start doing is flipping the perspective on the funnel, if you will. We spend all of our time chasing strangers and trying to get them into our business. But when someone says yes to us and they're now a customer, we actually don't give them the same amount of resource and focus and support and attention and such. Like most people have an advertising budget, but they don't have a customer success budget. They don't have a really solid journey on the back end, right? On the inside. And that's where the magic really happens. Like if you have a machine, if you will, that is consistently printing success stories, like it helps all your customers get results. Their stories of success and transformation become the best things to put the advertising spend on in the first place. You end up with a compounding effect, not a linear effect. But when you don't do that, you're bringing more and more people in there. They don't ascend. They don't buy more stuff. They don't renew their subscriptions. They don't tell other people, or worse, they do tell other people more negative kinds of stories. And so we really help people understand how to like refine that journey, remove the friction points that get people stuck in that journey. And also it's still about the swirl versus clarity too, right? Like there's a lot of swirl in our client journeys, like where they get stuck, where they get caught in those kind of strainers, if you will, and they don't get to that finish line. And so the more we can remove the friction, we can add what we call momentum boosters, ways where we know that like it's a little harder, it takes a little more like foot on the gas to get up the hill kind of thing. We actually give them like tools and techniques to put into their business so that the customers have a bigger result. And I have a book coming out on this actually in just a few weeks, and it's called Addicted to Strangers. And I really believe that the market today, like we are addicted to the strangers. And it's like stranger danger, right? Like we're so busy chasing that we're not able to focus on those who said yes to us. So yeah, thanks for that question.
This has been great, Jason. I appreciate you being willing to share all this. Where can people find more information about you and of course your book?
Yeah, well, go to strangers.radicalinc.com and I will give you a free ebook copy of my book. It's a wait list because it's coming out in just a few weeks, but love for you to do that. And then, I'll be emailing you. You can connect with me there and would love to see if I can help you in some way.
Awesome. Jason, this has been fun. I appreciate you coming back and doing this again. We'll have to do it again sometime, okay?
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me back, buddy.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.